Parshas Boy, Tov Shin, Pei Hey, as we continue along here with the beautiful inyanim of Geulas Mitzrayim. So in this week's Parsha, as we all know, we have the last 3 of the 10 Makkahs. And the last Makkah in this week's Parsha, the last Makkah, the final blow given to the Mitzrayim that would now culminate in the Bnei Yisrael being asked to leave, get out of Mitzrayim, we don't want you here anymore. That Makkah, as we know, was Makas B'chayros. And the Torah tells us something very, very interesting. Do you know that by Makas B'chayros, each house of the Bnei Yisrael needed to have, we put blood on the doorposts of the home, so that home would be recognized as the house of a Jew, and it would be skipped over during Makas B'chayros. During Makas B'chayros, we know the firstborn of everything that the Mitzrayim had, the Mitzri, and then everything that went under the name Bechorah Mitzrayim was smitten, was killed, and the Klal Yisrael was told, put blood on your doors, and if you put blood on your doors, it would be skipped over during Makas B'chayros, and nothing would happen to you. And the Torah says, I'll read you the psukim just to lay down what we want to speak about over here, and what's really bothering the Nesivos Shalom. The pasuk says, "V'avarti be'eretz Mitzrayim b'alayla hazeh." Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to go through Mitzrayim on that night, on this night. V'hikesi kol b'chor be'eretz Mitzrayim. Going to smite every b'chor in Mitzrayim. Me adam v'ad behema, from every person and behema. Uv'chol alei Mitzrayim S.S.S.S ani Hashem. And then the Torah continues. The blood should be as a sign on your homes, and then nothing's going to happen to you. If there's blood on your door, and we'll know it's a Jewish house, nothing's going to happen. So really the Nesivos Shalom says, we need to understand this. Why was it that just by Makas B'chayros, this sign of blood on the doorpost was needed? We know we just went through 9 other Makkahs, and by the other Makkahs, Hashem differentiated between the Mitzri and the Jew without a problem. Didn't need a sign, didn't need anything to show him, Kaviyachol, what's going on over here. For 9 Makkahs, it worked. Hashem didn't ask you, don't show me anything. I know who's a Jew, and I know who's a Mitzri. No problem. No signs needed. By Makas Dever, right? By Makas Dever, the Torah even explicitly tells us, V'hifla Hashem bein miknei Yisrael uvein miknei Mitzrayim. Hashem is going to make the difference between cattle that belong to the Bnei Yisrael and cattle that belong to the Mitzrayim. No signs. Nobody has to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew. And especially now, by Makas B'chayros, but even before, the Nesivos Shalom brings Umar right to by Makas Chayshech, right? It says, Chol B'nei Yisrael haya arba maish v'yisam. They had light, and the Mitzrayim, and it was dark. No fanfare, no nothing. And especially now, by Makas B'chayros, we need a sign on the door to tell Hashem who is a Jew. By Makas B'chayros, it was done by HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. The Torah explicitly tells us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it himself, and we say it in the Haggadah, Ani v'loi malach, Ani v'loi saraf. Hashem, it says it's him. And if it's Hashem, to Hashem for sure, not a malach where, if you want to ask, maybe a malach has to be shown a sign. To Hashem, obviously, it is known who is a Mitzri and who is a Jew. So what are these signs on the door by Makas B'chayros all about? So Nesivos Shalom tells us that we need to know, and this is a good thing to keep in your mind for Pesach when you want to speak about by the Seder about Geulas Mitzrayim when we got out of Mitzrayim. Nesivos Shalom says there were two parts. We're going to do a little bit of a brisk word over here. We're going to say there's Yetzias Mitzrayim, but really you could split Yetzias Mitzrayim into two different things. There are two different simultaneous things going on by Yetzias Mitzrayim. First, there's the Etzem Geula from Shiva Mitzrayim. The Yidden were working in Mitzrayim for so many years, Avodas Perach, hard work, and they were taken out of Mitzrayim. Simple, Yetzias Mitzrayim meant no more work, Geulas Mitzrayim, they're out. But there's another part of Geulas Mitzrayim, and that is that Klal Yisrael was now chosen as the nation of Hashem. There's the Geula from the work, and now there's becoming the Am Hashem, becoming the chosen nation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And those things happened simultaneously. When they got out of Mitzrayim, there was no more work, obviously. And when they got out of Mitzrayim, they now became the prized nation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And there are parts of Geulas Mitzrayim that go into the first category, and there are things that go into the latter part, into the second category. Makas B'chayros, says in the Nesivos Shalom, like other things went into one category or the other. Makas B'chayros was really both. And of course, by Makas B'chayros, there was the simple fact that it punished the Mitzrim, and it punished them so badly that there was a Bechar dying in every house, that it caused the Mitzrim to tell Klal Yisrael, do not wait one more second, get out of Mitzrayim. Leave right now and set Klal Yisrael free. And there was now also the Makas B'chayros also had a second part, that as soon as they were leaving Mitzrayim, now they would become the Am HaNivchar. The Torah tells us, in Chumash Bamidbar, the pasuk says, "B'yom hakoisi kol b'char be'eretz Mitzrayim." On the day that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, on the day that I punished every b'char in Eretz Mitzrayim, and the pasuk continues, "Hikdashti oisam li." When that happened, when Makas B'chayros happened, and Klal Yisrael was told to leave Mitzrayim, it's that minute. It's right then. Hikdashti oisam li. We became the prized Kodesh to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Two separate things were going on at the same time. Geula out and Klal Yisrael being brought in. The B'chayros were punished and Hikdashti oisam li. So of course, for the first part of punishing the Mitzrayim, no signs were needed on the door. They didn't need any sign on the door. Hashem, the 9 Makas before that, the same way it was no problem for that, it was no problem for this. For the part of punishing the Mitzrayim and Geula to get out of Mitzrayim, Hashem didn't need any signs. Hashem knows who is Jewish. But to see who is signing up to be part of the Am HaNivchar, who is going to want to really be part of the Am Hashem, who's going to give blood, who is ready to sacrifice, to be, what's going to be a real Jewish bias? A real Jewish bias doesn't let everything in and doesn't let everything out. You have to sacrifice. There has to be, it's not just an expression. The Dam Pesach and the Dam Milah that were put on the door, it was put there to show that S.S.S. that it's through blood and the expression of blood also. You know, we're expressing that we're giving our blood, that we're ready for Mesiras Nefesh, that we're real, and we're signing up right now. We have blood in the game. We're signing up as the nation of Hashem to show that we're ready, and we're willing, and we want to leave the behavior and the actions of the Mitzrayim, of the ways of the Mitzrayim, and we're ready to sacrifice, because it's not easy. The Yetzer Hara is still the Yetzer Hara. What we're telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu is that we're going to give blood for it. We're going to try. We're going to work. And we're going to put that as a sign on our door that we're ready now to give that all up, to try to fight the Yetzer Hara with our blood. Dam Milah, Dam Pesach, to do the Ratzon Hashem. And the term giving our blood for something, that's even an English term, that when you give your blood for something, it really does come across in a practical way too. Here, Klal Yisrael is actually taking blood from Damila and putting on the door, and many times, the Yetzer Hara, when a person wakes up in the morning, whatever it is, comes after Yom Kippur, comes after Yom Tif, it comes after Rosh Chodesh, yesterday, everybody, this is the week of HaChodesh Hazeh Lochem, where we learn that every Rosh Chodesh is a new beginning. We want to begin. So the Yetzer Hara, he hears you say, right, today was Rosh Chodesh Shvat. Shvat is going to be Shenishmaser, B'Soros Toivois. I think it was even on the Big Cholim status today. Shenishmaser, B'Soros Toivois. Everything's going to be good. The Yetzer Hara sees we want to change. We want to have only good things this month. The Yetzer Hara says, you know what? The easy things I'll let you do. You want to make a couple of changes here, and don't get me wrong, you have to get started with small things, with easy things. Don't try to jump too much. But the Yetzer Hara, a lot of times, he's going to let those things go. But he's going to absolutely want to stop you when you want to give your blood for something. When you put your stake in the game, when you're willing to sacrifice and give up hana and give up taiva and give up things for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when you're really ready to fight the Yetzer Hara, then he's going to come and he's going to try to stop you. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us exactly what we have to do. We have to be ready to do things that are tough sometimes. We have to be ready to do things with Mesiras Nefesh. We have to show that we're ready to sacrifice to be the Am HaNivchar. You think we're different? Look at the animals today in Gaza that let these 4 young women out that were being held for 15 months, everything, till the last second. You see these animals, these chayas, these people that are no different than animals. These are animals on 2 feet and worse than animals because they're supposed to be able to be human beings, right? Animals are supposed to be animals. And these things, what is it? So if a person doesn't put fight into the game, you don't put blood into the game, that's what you could be. That's what you could turn into. They're here to show us a sign what a human being could become if you let everything loose, if you have no morals. If you're a dog, that's what you are. And we're telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu by Makas B'chayres that we're going to fight that. We're going to fight the hard things. We're not going to be like the Mitzrayim. We're not going to be like the Arabs. We're not going to be like them. We put our blood, we put our stake in the game. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, oh, if that's the case, you're showing me a sign. You're showing me the blood on the door. Then the second part of Makas B'chayres takes place. You have a Geula. Today we're also trying to strive for Geula. Geula is going to come when HaKadosh Baruch Hu does 2 things. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to say, it's time. Higiaz man Geulaschem. Time is up. Time to leave Golos, to leave everything behind, and time for Mashiach to come. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also going to want to see who's coming with me. Mil Hashem Elai. Who puts blood in the game? Who puts stake? Who's willing to sacrifice? Who's signing up to be the Am Hashem? And that is why the Torah tells us in this week's Parsha that when it comes to Geula, the Geula then is the Geula the same as today. It requires the same thing. We have to work on the Sinas Chinam that we put us in Galus. We have to work on Avas Chinam. All these things have to be worked on. But we also have to work on telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu we're signing up. We're going to be the Am HaNivchar. V'hoya hadam lachem la'ois. The dam, showing what you'll sacrifice, that's going to be the sign to Hashem. And Emir Hashem, very soon, we're going to see, Higiaz man Geulaschem. We're coming, this week we read about Chodesh Nisan. It may not be Chodesh Nisan yet, but maybe we're reading in the Parsha about Chodesh Nisan. HaChodesh Hazeh Lochem. Time of renewal for every one of us. Let's be makabel these things, and Hashem will be Zoiche to the Geula Shalema.